From starring in one of the biggest hit sci-fi shows of the decade to being impatient about it finally ending because she's starring in something much more awesome, how bad does the 11-star Millie Bobby Brown want to leave Stranger Things? She says it's time to wrap it up and look for newer things. The show has been running since 2016. The grand finale will air in 2025. That's 9 years for just 5 seasons. Imagine how tired the actors are. Let's not forget that the majority of the cast was prepubescent in the first season. They've practically grown up with this show. Millie, who stars as the super-powered protagonist, is the front and center of the series. I can't even imagine the pressure she must have gone through. And don't get me started with the publicity. You would not believe the number of weirdos that are out there. But that's not the point. It's time for the young actress to spread her wings and reach out to new beginnings. In one of her interviews, she talked about how there's a lot of the story that's been told. In other words, wrap it up, Duffer Brothers. The 19-year-old did mention another thing that might anger some hardcore Stranger Things fans. Brown said she's able to create stories for herself. She also wants to focus on the bigger picture. Does that mean the Netflix show isn't big enough for her? Luckily, that's not the case. Millie was 12 when she first starred in the series, and she is eternally grateful for everything. Being this popular at such a young age is pretty impressive. It requires so much luck, you have no idea. Oh, and talent, of course. There's no denying that the actress made some lifelong friendships in the show. The cast will definitely hold a very special place in her heart. But as Brown said, it's time to make new stories. Stranger Things has been a huge part of everyone's lives in the past few years. Who knew 4 nerdy boys and a telepathic girl would mean so much to us? And somehow, the Duffer Brothers managed to make each season new and interesting for the fans, even though the overall plot was kind of the same. But I won't get into those details. Millie talked about how she wants to work on the big picture. What could she possibly have meant by that? What's bigger than Stranger Things? Before I get into that, aren't you curious about who else has had things to say about the series ending? David Harbour agreed with his co-star. The actor who plays Jim Hopper, also known as everyone's favorite sheriff/dad, said that it's time for the Netflix series to end. He too mentioned the years it's taken to reach a conclusion. 9 years for just 5 seasons is still so insane, to be honest. You have sitcoms making twice as those in that amount of time, and those usually run 24 episodes a season. Okay, I won't be comparing two completely different genres here. Harbour said that it's time for the cast and crew to leave the nest and try other things and different projects. He also wants the Duffer Brothers to do the same. After all, those two directors are just so creative. Their talents need to be explored elsewhere. The actor seems to have found his next franchise in none other than MCU. Talk about an upgrade. There, he plays Alexei Shoskotov, also known as Red Guardian. David's next appearance will be in Thunderbolts, releasing in 2024. Sadie Sink, on the other hand, who plays Max on the show, had a much bigger role in the latest season. Recently, she starred in The Whale alongside Oscar winner Brendan Fraser.
Hey, you know what? You can't throw me away like I'm a piece of garbage and then suddenly just want to be my dad 8 years later.
Now she has a rather different approach to the closing chapter. Sink is scared of saying goodbye to the security of the show. And no, she doesn't mean her bodyguards or anything like that. She's spent so much of her life with her co-stars. It feels weird for her to not expect to see each other for another season. It's scary and sad, yes, but according to the young actress, it's also very exciting to move on to the next chapter. Perhaps the closest bond she's had is with Millie, the topic of this video. I mean, there was an entire season where the two grew a very close and emotional bond. Not to mention that it was absolutely adorable. I'm pretty sure Brown feels the same for this particular cast member. I just know there are going to be gallons of tears being shed in the finale. But as most of the ensemble said, it's time for a new chapter. So, what does Millie have in mind? Some of you may not know this, but the actress isn't just an actress. She's a businesswoman too. When she was just 13 years old, the star launched her very own production company. PCMA Productions is run by her family. Well, mainly her sister, Paige Brown. Reminder, she was 13. Imagine kickstarting your own company at that age. Some of us were still in our emo phases back then. What did Millie's parents feed their daughter? Her company was successfully involved in Enola Holmes 2, the sequel based on Nancy Springer's mystery novel series. Through PCMA, the actress has had plenty of experience. She's been involved in things like casting and pre-production. With that in mind, how embarrassing would it have been if a kid didn't give you the role in one of the movies she was producing? It looks like Hollywood is closer to being run by Gen Zers. But wait, is her production company a part of the bigger picture? Well, Millie also launched a beauty brand. Kim Kardashian who? Get your products from Florence by Mills. This skincare, hair care, and cosmetics brand is run by none other than the little girl who always ends a Stranger Things season with high-pitched screaming. Oh, and having her hand out like Darth Vader when he wants to grab someone midair. The brand has been a huge success and probably added a couple more zeros to her bank account. In a good way, of course. This 19-year-old isn't going bankrupt anytime soon. The best part? The products are all environmentally friendly. And no, I know what you're thinking. This video isn't sponsored by Florence by Mills. I sure hope it was, though. Hey, Millie, if you're watching this and you need to promote your brand, you know who to call. The star is a successful actress in one of the biggest shows of this generation, has her own beauty brand and a production company. What big picture is she talking about? Is she going to run for president too? At this point, no one would be surprised. So instead of jumping to conclusions, why not look into her upcoming roles? She'll be starring in Damsel and The Electric State. The former will have her playing a princess who must fight for her life and kingdom. Who knows? Maybe this movie will end up getting her a spot in House of the Dragon. How epic would that be? As for The Electric State, Millie will portray an orphan teen looking for her missing younger brother with the help of a robot. The fact that these two films will release this year and the next means that she's running on all gears. Does she even have time to film a whole season of Stranger Things? Then again, the 5th and final season is premiering 2 years from now. Friendly reminder that she'll be 21 then, which is kind of perfect to end a long-running show. The actress mentioned how now that she's of age, she can finally do roles with no restraints. With that, it looks like Brown is ready for the next chapter in her career.